A scandal of epic proportions in Minnesota where dozens of residents in the Somali community have been charged with defrauding the state's welfare program, stealing more than $1 billion taxpayer dollars. It is an investigation that spans several years, with the FBI under the Biden administration raiding organizations and uncovering multiple government fraud schemes. Joining us this morning to discuss this, as well as the investigation against the Afghan National Guard shooting suspect, is retired FBI Special Agent in Charge and former head of the Chicago PD, Jody Weis. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Jan.
What do you know about this massive fraud investigation that officials have said centers around the very large Somali community in and around Minneapolis, where millions upon millions could have been funneled to the terror group Al-Shabaab, because this clearly has implications for taxpayers as well as our immigration and our national security policies?
Yeah, Jan, this is just so disgusting. You think about it, all these shell companies have been put together for services that are literally non-existent, and they sounded legitimate, feeding hungry children, autism, housing, but they were just non-existent services, and billions have gone back in fraud. But the worst thing about this, a large percentage of that has gone to Al-Shabaab, a terrorist group that kills Americans. But here's what I'd love to see the Department of Justice do, Jan. This is all set up for a RICO investigation. Yeah. You've got this group, nonprofits, government, some allegations, even the governor might be involved. You've got some of the social services funneling money into, quote, the cookie jar to replenish it. And then you've got this pattern that's been going on for years, money laundering, bribery. So if this was a street gang, Jan, in Chicago, this would be a slam dunk RICO case. So I really, really hope that this is how it turns out.
And do you find it disturbing that this has been going on at least since 2022, when the Biden administration's FBI began raiding these organizations? I mean, some 75 defendants were indicted back then associated with this Somali charitable group for stealing taxpayer dollars. If the feds were well aware this was happening and yet thought the governor of that state would still be a good running mate for Kamala Harris, I mean, how disturbing is this?
Oh, it's shocking. But Eric Holder supposedly did the vetting for Waltz, former attorney general. But you have to ask yourself, Jan, maybe this wasn't really a big deal. What does all this go for in some of these communities? You're buying votes. So until you're caught, maybe this is something that didn't come up on the radar. But it's amazing that the Department of Justice, looking into this, could not identify this and tell the presidential candidate, this is not a good fit.
No, especially when you're talking about upward of $1 billion. I mean, this is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Another foreign national of an enemy country, Afghanistan, facing first-degree murder charges, police say, for killing National Guard troops Sarah Beckstrom and severely injuring Andrew Wolf, who, by the way, is still fighting for his life. Walk us through what law enforcement is doing right now in their investigation following that horrific attack.
Well, Jan, right now, we don't know what the motive is. We don't really know why he did this. So they're going to be looking again at all the social media, all the digital footprints. They're going to be interviewing anybody that might know this guy to try to find out what really happened with him. So there's still a lot of work to be done. That's why you haven't seen any charges for terrorism yet, because you don't have the motive yet.
Well, Homeland Security's Secretary Kristi Noem believes he was radicalized here in this country, but I got to ask you, he allegedly worked with the CIA in Afghanistan, so was he not vetted then? And what does this tell us about foreign nationals of enemy countries that we're relying on to work with our troops and handle the most sensitive information when it comes to national security?
Yeah, great question, Jim, because we have to ask, how was he vetted? What did he do in Afghanistan? He was literally a paid mercenary. He got a list of people and locations to go hit. He's in the 0 unit. They went in and they killed people. So what could possibly go wrong when you bring literally a paid assassin on a belief system that is totally foreign to the United States? You bring him to the United States, and we're asking him to assimilate into our culture. What could possibly go wrong with this? But it's different vetting from someone that is basically, can you go out and kill people for us, as compared to coming in and being a productive member of our society.
All right. Always great to see you, Jody. Thanks for joining us here on the National News Desk. We appreciate it.
You too, Jan. Have a good week.
You too.
Happening on the other